Hi. Okay, I am here with Mr. Randall today, and as you guys know me, I am Raven with Pushing Past Prison Community. I'm sorry for the beginning mixed up because it literally looked like it wasn't recording. So now that we're good and ready to go, I would like for you guys to let this wonderful man introduce himself. So we're gonna start off with that, and there you go, sir. Take the floor.
Hey, Reverend, thanks a lot for the day. I'd like to characterize some things that happened to me on March the 24th, 2009, via the Sarasota Sheriff Department. Um, the Sarasota Sheriff Department came to 7856 Andorra Drive. I would approximate around 7 o'clock. They were beckoned by a man named Dr. Smart, Kenzel Smart. And the person that who I was living with was Barbara J. O'Connor, was my fiance. She happened to be a Caucasian female, about 13 years older than me. Um, she accused me of a number of times of being with my ex-girlfriend, or even when we went out, she would accuse me of looking around with other women. Um, she she is a good person, but she was just extremely jealous. One day, she called me while I was at work at the hospital. I was a registered respiratory therapist working for Palms of Pasadena Hospital, and I received a call telling me that uh, she wanted her cell phone, her garage door opener, and the keys to the house. Then the phone went off. I tried calling back, and there was no answer. And finally, I was a little worried. I punched out early from work and drove home to see what the problem was. When I got to the house, knowing that she was probably upset with me because of my ex-girlfriend, what she was assuming, I said, well, she might not come in the house. So I parked my car somewhere else. And then I went into the house. Later, she came to the house, she entered, and she said she had to use the bathroom, and she wanted to talk to me about something. Uh, she came out the bathroom, went into the kitchen, got a bottle of water, but she didn't come back out. So I went into the kitchen. When I went in, I walked past her, leaned against the countertop, and asked her what was the problem. Suddenly, the phone rang. It was Dr. Smart. Come to find out, during the court proceedings, the pretrial proceedings, she was actually seeing this man. They was actually having some type of relationship. I didn't know that during the relationship. Finally, he was asking her questions. Do you want me to call the police, etc.? She said no. However, Dr. Smart called anyway at 6:01 p.m. And of course, when 911 picks up, they always say, "What is your emergency?" 911, what is your emergency? And he just simply told him that there was a restraining order that was taken out earlier that day, and it was a black male, age 45 years of age. Let me go back because I skipped a part.
Well,
When
hold on.
she
Before, I'm sorry, Randall. Before you go into the details of your situation, my biggest thing I want the viewers to see from you is who are you behind the allegations. I want to say who are like who is Randall? Like what? Who are you? What are you bringing to society? What type of person that you have came to be after the time you spent in prison?
after prison is what you're asking me. Well,
Yes.
after prison, well, you got to realize, I was convicted and received 15 years and 5 years paper. And that simply means 5 years probation.
Mhm.
I spent 12 years, 10 months in prison, and I was at a variety of prisons. Um, Prison didn't change me because I was always a decent person. I was raised by a good family that stuck together. Um, what prison showed me was a level of respect for other inmates. If you didn't have this level of respect in prison, with the mentality in prison, it's not like the mentality in the streets. People have suffered from some mental illnesses. People are just violent. There's people in prisons that should never get out. I'm not God, but I'm not God, but you would have to be there to see it. People
Yeah.
always assume that because you're in prison, there's a lot of homosexual activity. People are being raped. That's not true. That's television. They have laws and cameras in prison that can view and see these things. Now, I have heard of a person that was getting high for Tucci and was in a cell with another person. When they was in the same cell, they were roommates. And the person got high and the person killed the person, raped them, set them up. And so when the officers went around to count, they looked like they were still alive. So when the man went outside, the inmate went outside, he told the officer, I killed my roommate. But the officer thought that he was playing around. And they come to find
Yeah.
out, he actually did kill and rape. You have inmates in prison uh, that are good, and and these inmates are few, and they're trying to get out. They're trying to do what's right. You have inmates in prison that are bullies that will, what do you call it, diva, will just take your stuff, your canteen, that your family might put money on your books to get canteen. You have inmates that will do crazy things to disrespect you, and then you have to just overlook it. You might have inmates that you might be standing in line, someone might jump in front of you and say something, and this inmate might just happen to steal on the person without them being conscious that a lick is about to take place. It might knock them out, kill them, or the officer might see it on camera and put the person in what we call custody in prison. I've seen inmates smoking Tucci. What that simply means is that they'll take paper towels, coat it with, put the coffee and water, dilute it, and spread it on the paper towel, let it dry, and then sprinkle this little Tucci on it and smoke it. And all of a sudden, they lose all consciousness. They don't know who they are and what they did. Some of them lay back in bed, throwing up on them, throwing up backwards on themselves. Some of them are getting high together, throwing up on one another, and like pigs swallowing in their own vomit. I've seen I've seen inmates jump off of the tills, inmates hang themselves. I saw one officer, I heard of one officer was smoking Tucci and he jumped off the till and killed himself. I've seen officers in camps beat inmates unconsciously and then put them in a cell so they can heal. And then the nurses know about these things and do nothing about it. I've seen officers actually kill a person while I was sitting on the bunk, and they beat the person. This one officer beat this person so badly with his fist because he had been smoking Tucci and he had made a sound. It came in and he was beat him off the bed on top of him, beating left, right fist, left fist, right fist, left fist. All the officers, what are you doing? Put the handcuffs on. Now he got the handcuffs in his hand around his fingers, and he's still beaten to the skin is coming off of him. And what do they do next? They doctor the cameras. But they say, oh, this can't be done. So they look out for one another, just like police officers, not all on the street, look out for one another when they are beating people, wrongfully pushing their head into the car, or writing false reports, and then come to court and then lie.
Yeah, because they
But
know they're
getting
backed behind a army of people that's going to protect them. You know, who polices
right,
the police?
that's right. So there's nobody to police the police in prison. They do what they want to do. They all stick together. Some people might review this what I'm saying and say, oh, he's just upset, he's just mad because he got convicted or was in prison. When your loved ones go to prison, or your son, your daughter, your niece, nephew, whoever your relative is, or a friend, Now all of a sudden now you say, oh, this guy, Mr. Wright, was telling the truth. It happens. No one talks about it. No one talks about it. Inmates die every day, either smoking Tucci, stabbing one another with shanks because of someone disrespected them, or getting cut in the face with razor blades. A lot of that takes place in prison. But if you come to prison and you do what is expected for you to do, mind your business, try to better yourself. You don't have a high school diploma, get your GED, because you need to have it. If you can try to get your college degree while you're in there, try to get that. These prisons in Florida has hardly no programs. They've been totally eliminated. This, I was at one camp at Gulf Correction, CI. People are walking around with no clothes on. The clothes that they have is so thin. Imagine when it's 20 degrees outside. There's hardly no heat in the dorms, and definitely no air conditioning in these old dorms. And if you get sick or hurt while you're in prison, and you go to the nursing department, they really don't care. You will die up in there. They do not care about you, you see. And they'll tell you, take a Tylenol. And they don't have doctors. They have nurses practitioners. Some of them don't even know they don't. So when I was in prison, I simply got into a faith base. I simply got a faith-based dorm, and then I went to faith-based prison. And at the same time, I tried working on my case. They move you around so much, it's very difficult for you to work in your case, because when this person is helping you work in your case and you're doing well, then they switch you to another person. Now this person is going to help you next time. They stuck. So I ended up in the last prison before I discharged was Hamilton. And Hamilton is probably one of the worst prisons I ever been to. The food is bad. They don't wash the dishes. They don't have a dishwasher with heat to wash the dishes to sterilize them. You got people that may have HIV or hepatitis in there washing dishes. They don't care, because most of the inmates steal all the ingredients and then sell them when they leave working in the kitchen. And God knows they don't wash their hands, and they're having sex with homosexuals in a room inside of the kitchen. You see, homosexuality is common in prison, but it's not something that someone says, I'm going to rape this person. You see, they agree on doing it. You see, so you get some men that says after 5 years in certain prisons that you are heterosexual, and then after 5 years being in prison, it's okay to be with a man. I'm like this: it's never okay to be with a man. To kiss a man, touch a man, in any kind of way, have sex with a man, any kind of way, God made Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve. And that's how I look at it. But what another man does in there, that's his business, because I don't get in there, because that can get you hurt in prison. I mean, you might have some officers that might come to another inmate and say, hey, I want you to do something to this person right now. I've heard that, I've never seen it. You know, so I'm not going to just allow correction officers in there. But but when a person is doing something, trying to live their life right in prison, you'll find correction officers will just, some of them will just hate a person that's trying to live right. But the person that has a bad voice in terms of cursing and saying what they want to say to the officer, they give them more respect than they give a person that's trying to be right. It's like they always want chaos. You know, whenever want anything to be
chaos and calamity. Chaos and calamity is that's kind of what they want in order to jam you up. I feel, I could be wrong, but that's what I feel.
Yeah, that's all they want. That's all they want in prison. It's not like you can make it what you want to make it in prison. I did, and I successfully left there and was happy to leave. But at the same time, I fought my case every single day. That's all I did to prove how I was wrongfully convicted by these officers that falsified documents, falsified photos, and then you make it so bad. you think that the system is, before you even get into trouble, that the system is a little broken. But you find out that the system is way beyond that broken, because when it has anything to do with officers or police officers, peace officers, you're in for a problem, because you're
Yeah.
going to find out that all these circuit judges are crooked. You're going to find out that the district court judges are crooked. You see, and then they tell you, oh, we're not going to grade you the same as a lawyer when you're trying to represent yourself. These guys went to school for 4 years in law school, and then they do apprenticeship and learn how to do law. And then you expect us as inmates to be able to figure it out and never seen a page of law. And then
Yeah.
the judges turn around and change because they know the law. So they can turn around and say, okay, this is what we'll do. This person's getting too close, so we'll make it more difficult for them. Just like
Mm.
knife that had fake, a 12-inch knife that had fake blood
Mm.
on it, in my case. And I knew it had fake party blood on it to make it look more gruesome than it was for the jurors. Now, keep in mind, the jurors never saw the knife, you see. I saw the knife when the second day of trial, when I realized something was actually wrong. And then when I went to prison, I tried to uh, get the DNA, and the judge at the time was Judge Charles E. Roberts, very crooked. He used to be a prosecutor. Everybody that has him says he's crooked, and he is. You sit in his courtroom and you telling him that these photos, and he see for himself. And on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, everyone that viewed my video posts, they saw for themselves. And I'm gonna show it today, the same thing again. How can the judge not see this? And how could your attorney not see this? It's because the attorneys that are public defenders or pretenders is working with the state. They're not trying to get people off that are actually innocent. What they're trying to do is get pleas. It's cheaper than taking it
Yeah.
to trial.
Yeah. Yeah. Because if I'm not mistaken, isn't it something where it's like if you take it amongst your peers, take it to trial, and you lose, you automatically get 15 years or something like that added on, or something like that?
Well, I assume, but if you take something to trial and they give you a plea of 2 years, because I got my case down to 2 years time, sir. And why would you say I'm going to take this plea and you know you're innocent and you know you have no other felony convictions on your record? So I said no. I'm going to take it to trial. And I knew I was going to lose because nothing was going in my favor with my attorneys. Nothing. Now I had a judge. The first judge I had was Judge Curley. Now she was a fair judge. She saw what was going on wrong in the case. She saw it. And then after 3 years, I've been still in Sarasota County Jail. They switched it to civil, and it gave me Charles Roberts, which was a prosecuting judge. He hadn't read the case. He didn't know a lot about the case, and he was totally wrong for being the judge on the case. He should have never been on that case. Never been on the case. He 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 allowed the prosecutor to do exactly whatever she wanted to do in that courtroom. It was all set up. The Barbara J. O'Connor as victim. She was given privilege in that courtroom. She had already been, what's the word, debriefed on what to say. And some of the questions that my attorney asked her were the same questions he asked her during pre-trial. She knew exactly the answer to the questions. I was the only one that wasn't prepared.
Yeah. That's very unfortunate. They definitely find ways to just jam us up, and I'm just talking about minorities as a whole. There's no way there's people in this country that doesn't have a felony, never did a crime, but also can be served 20 plus years in prison. I never got that. I never will understand that. That's outrageous. And but that's how America, that's how America. But,
Look at it was a Hispanic guy with the same charge as a white guy. They were close to the same age. The Spanish guy has never had anything on his record, and the white guy had none on his record. I can't remember what the charge was, but I do know this. The Spanish guy was looking at 15 years, and the white guy was looking at 5 years with the same charge under the same judge. What does that tell you? I've seen, when I was in Sarasota County Jail, I've seen a guy that was from another country. He was doing some work in this country. It was a young guy, about 22 years old. He was doing some drugs. It was a hotel his mom was concerned about. She had called on it. Police officer goes out to the scene. He was being escorted somewhere via this police officer to his car, I guess. Well, the guy, the inmate tripped and fell against the officer. The officer then turns around and said, now he had the officer's keys in his mouth, but he was handcuffed. This guy was handcuffed behind his back. He trips and falls on the officer, right? Accident. And he picks up the keys with his mouth. Remember, the guy's mentally not all the way here because he consumed some drugs. The officer writes a report and lies and said that he was trying to get away and he pushed him down. So I tell him to tell his mother, get an attorney to get the camera to see what actually happened. She did. And it was just like he said. And they dismissed the case. This guy was going to prison or serve some serious time in jail. You see, because of officers like that. Why can't officers just tell the truth? And in my case, they just told the truth.
Yeah. It's gonna make their reputation look bad. It's gonna make them, feel less competent, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. The truth, I don't know, like them telling the truth would jeopardize their career. A lot of these officers live in the same community, same society, so you don't want to be outcast for, so you want to be like, you know what, I'm not gonna take responsibility for that. I'm gonna lie because he's already a criminal. He's already Black or Latino, so he's gonna fuck up in society anyway. So yeah, he did that. Oh, that happened. That's how I feel like they view it.
Right.
And it's unfortunate. But going back into your case, now that we got a little bit of an idea of who you are and your mindset and how you operate, obviously there's a lot more to tell. But I want you to dive into continuing your story, your case, because you did mention the fake blood that was kind of like in the pictures to make it more gruesome for the jury. So go into where you left off in your story, and then we'll continue from there.
All right.
If you have to go back a bit, that's fine.
Dr. Kieran Smart, I left off. He called the cops around 6:01 p.m. They responded. The first officer to really show the crime scene was Officer Duber. How do I know this? There's something that's called a CAD report. It tells you where the officer, the badge number of the officer, dispatched, what time they was dispatched to a certain location, etc. That's how I found out that Deputy Duke was the first person that actually came and knocked on the door at 7856 Endora Drive, which is Barbara J. O'Connor's residence. The next thing that happened, now they said that Deputy Duke was preempted. He was called to another call, but he was actually called the second time to the same call, which is 7856 Endora Drive, which he showed up at. How do I get this information? I get this information from records. The next thing that happened is there were knocks on the door. I heard knocks on the door. At the time, we were then in the bathroom. Now, before the bathroom scene, let's go back to the kitchen scene. Now, she hangs up the phone with Dr. Smart after she tells him that everything is fine, no call. I walk up on her. As I'm walking up on her, she pulls a knife out of her left hand. And I'm saying, what are you going to do? Hurt me with the knife? I'm going to be Superman. I'm going to try to take it from her. So I'm reaching in, trying to grab her wrist, and in her left hand, she's making these motions to prevent me from reaching in. Now, she was in the one that was in the kitchen, and I'm in the one that came to the kitchen, walked past her, and leaning on the countertop. Um, show you show you a photo of what I'm talking about. If if I'm leaning, if I walk into the kitchen and 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 I'm leaning and I come in here to the kitchen and I walk all the way over here where you see the nutcrackers on the inner side of the kitchen. Let me get a little closer. And I'm standing here. So that means that she can leave the kitchen, and this what you see here
Anyway,
with
yeah.
this
It's
nutcracker
an
here,
open
that's the
concept
den
kitchen.
door. And right, if you move from the kitchen over here to this side, that's the bathroom.
Okay.
Now what happened is I walk up on her and I'm trying to take the knife from her. And she's going in up and down motion to prevent me from.
I'm sorry. Flip your camera, Randall. We still see the book.
Right. To prevent me from taking the knife from the. This was an 8-inch steak knife. So when I reached in, she went down. And what happened next? She came up, and and I said accidentally because it wasn't intentional. She accidentally cut me on the way up. Now it wasn't a serious cutting, which is you're cutting across tendons, which arteries and underneath the tendons. She was it was a paper cut. It didn't require anything when I went to the hospital with 3 layers of dermal balm. So what happened next? We go into the bathroom. Now she has a knife. She goes to the bathroom. I follow in the bathroom. I look at it and I'm saying, "Oh, don't worry about it. It's just a paper cut." So I sit. Now the curtains to the bathroom are actually pulled. So I push the curtain back and I sit down. She's on the toilet still. We're talking, and we're trying to work these things out. Now there's knocks at the door, but there's no one saying Sarasota Sheriff Department. So we thinking it's Dr. Smart who called earlier. Now it's getting dark outside. Okay, it's getting outside. So think about it. If I'm cut at around 6 o'clock, right? All right, now it's getting dark outside. So time is passing. So you know that there's blood somewhere. It's starting to oxidize. It's starting to change colors, like a brown to a dark color as time keeps moving. So eventually I tell her, I said, well, this is going to see who's knocking on the door. But she wanted to talk about it. So we talked. So now there's knocks on the other doors. So eventually it's dark outside. So almost 2 hours pass. So we're leaving the kitchen. And as we're walking, we can hear the sound of the refrigerator go off. Now, I'm going to turn the camera back around and give you an idea. You can see in this picture the refrigerator right there.
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. Now, as we're walking out of the bathroom here, we stop here by the countertop. I'm going to flip the camera back. And we say, she said, that's never happened before. In terms of the sound of the humming of the refrigerator going off. But what really happened is the police called a code, which I think it was a 1066. And what they did, they cut the power off to the house. And then her sister, they was waiting on her to bring a key because there was a decal on the window. She got 10 minutes later, the sister arrived to get the key. They come into the house and we're walking, it's dark. And when they came in, they didn't say Sarasota Sheriff Department, they just came in. And they flashed a light in my eyes and told me to get on the ground. And I didn't know who was telling me to get on the ground. But when I was able to see, I saw Sergeant Sarin putting his side arm back into the holster. And I looked on the stairs and I saw Deputy Solomon holding a shotgun from the staircase. So I believe if she wasn't in the way, they would have killed me or murdered me that night. So they let her out. Sergeant Solomon comes over and he says, "How did you get this cut on your arm?" I said, "She did, the one you let out the door." So eventually they got me up, took me outside to the hands of Deputy Goloff, Robert Goloff. He takes me to the squad car. I get in and I see her cross the street with her family. And I'm not saying anything to him, so I sat there for a while. And then they take me around the back. Now the ambulance came while I was around the back, but they didn't come to see me. They came to see her, not me.
But she doesn't have any cuts or bruises or anything.
There's no bruises, not one hair is out of place, not one bruise. But they're gonna charge me for domestic battery. Okay. Nor did she tell me there was a restraining order she got earlier that day. Now, the thing about the restraining order,
Someone's supposed to serve you, right?
I'm sorry?
When you have a restraining order, isn't someone supposed to serve you with the paperwork to let you know?
Well, yes, I was never served the paperwork. All right. And besides, she never told me there was a restraining order when she called me on the phone. And when she saw me at the house, she never told me about a restraining order. She would have. I would have left. The house. This is how this restraining order came up. Dr. Smart, when they met at Marina Jack's that day, her lover, she told him some stuff. So how do you get a person out of your house? Restraining order. It costs money to get a person evicted. So they go to her boss, which is I want to say he's the chief of at the time he was assistant chief of the fire department in Sarasota. Now he's chief of the fire department on Longboat Key. His name is Desi. So they tell the story to Desi about what's going on between us. Said there was some violence and some stuff like that. They turned around and Desi called the second in charge of the sheriff department, Colonel Burns. Colonel Burns tells them to go and just get a restraining order from the clerk of court. Well, they do that. Then after they do that, they go back to Chief Desi's office and they call me at my job. And the phone goes there. I told you earlier, I left, went home. She went into the bathroom, used the bathroom, came out, got some water. And that's why in this photo, I'm gonna flip around again. That's why you see the water.
Yep, I see it. I see the water bottle.
And a red cell phone right there. You see that red cell phone?
I can see it. It's something a little reddish right there. I see it.
Right. So if I come a little closer, you can see the red cell phone right there.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some kind of hair bracelet right there on the other side.
Goldish. I see something goldish. If it was gold.
So now I'm behind the house, sitting there for, I don't know, for maybe 15, 20, 30 minutes. And now remember I told you there was a CAD report. Now in this CAD report, the deputy Goloff is in the front of the seat of the car and he's telling them that I'm on my way to the hospital. But I wasn't on my way to the hospital. I was still sitting back there. So he lied to dispatch, which is a felon. He lies to dispatch, because look at the CAD report. He then drives back around the house. And then now he's telling them I'm at the hospital, dispatch, all right? And I don't have the paperwork in front of me. I wish I did so I can show you. Then he goes into the house. He leaves them. Remember, he has no papers in his hands. He goes into the house. And maybe 10 minutes later, he comes out of the house with all these papers in his hand. When I found out later, one of the papers in his hand was an involuntary order saying that the subject, and I wish I could show you this, the subject stated that he wanted to kill himself. The subject stated that he wanted to stab his girlfriend in the chest 5 times, and one other statement. Okay, now when he did, and I really wish I had the depositions there, because that's what I really want to show you guys today. So when he, on his deposition, Charles Ziegfeld, the attorney, tells him to look at the voluntary statement that you said, Mr. Wright, wanted to statement. I mean, that the subject wanted to kill himself, the subject wanted to stab his girlfriend in the chest 5 times, and etc. And he said, yeah, I see it. He said, so this is what Mr. Wright told you? He says, no, that's what the victim told me. But why didn't you say the victim and you said me? I'm gonna tell
Yeah.
you why.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you why he did that. They've been an officer for a while and they discussed it when I was in that house. Not just him, the Lieutenant Locke and the rest of them that was in that house, they all discussed it, what they was gonna do, because they realized when it came into the house, only person who was injured was me. So they had to come up with an idea to protect the workup of the Chief Desi. You see, so now there's partiality.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I'm in. So now I'm in jail. I'm gonna skip the part with the doctor. I'm in jail now. So after 24 hours, you go to first appearance. Now I'm in first appearance, and I hear the judge. I can't think of his name. The judge says, "Oh, you must be crazy. Oh, you want to kill, you want to stab somebody in the chest 5 times." Now he's reading from the reports that the
Mm-hmm.
officers.
And
You
you over
see,
here probably like, wait, what?
I'm
What?
like, I'm trying to figure out what is going on here. I have no clue what's going on with me right now, and everything like is going at 100 miles an hour. And with these officers, they have done this many times with people. I can assume they're good at it, but they make mistakes when they do it. It's because no one challenges it. Okay,
Yeah.
so I asked my dad. I said, it's my dad that lives in Chicago, and I said, well, could you get copies, the transcripts of first appearance? And he did for me in the disc, so I can have it as my record. Oh yeah, the
Mm-hmm.
judge name was Judge DeFerio. That was the judge that was saying that that early morning. Uh, so now what they was trying to do is they was trying to make me look like I was crazy. I was a psych patient. See, that's
Mm-hmm.
what they do. When you fight the system, the first thing they try to do is that when they know that they're
Show
wrong,
that
they
you're
try to make you
incompetent.
look like you have psychological problems.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they do. So anybody out there that's listening, realize if you don't already know, and you know that you're innocent and you're wrongfully convicted, that's what they do.
Yeah.
That's what they do. And the judges know they're doing it. You
But there's
see.
no one to stop the this flow, this process of shit. No one is there to take a stand because they don't want to be outlawed or outcast or whatever you want to call it against their peers. Simple as that.
And you got that 100%. You hit it on the nail. That's exactly what it is. So when they're trying to protect one of them themselves, the police person, police or police protecting a person that works for the system, that's what they do. They protect one another as best as they can and falsify pictures and documents. You see, uh, I asked for a polygraph test to prove that these photos, this, especially the one that you just saw, and the ones that's on my social media, were bogus and fake. Now, a few days later, a few days I've been in jail, my attorney James Charles Ziegfeld shows me a first set of photos, and I'm looking at them. I say, okay, 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 and I can see the knife, the 8-inch steak knife that I took from her, and I set it between his and her face bowl when we was in the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and now all of a sudden, it's not on the face bowl; it's between two shower curtains. But the strange thing about it is that if you have blood on your hands, both hands, there should be blood on the doorknob, on the items that they claim that I took apart, phones. There should be blood on the handle.
If it's gonna be as gruesome as they want to kind of depict it, it should
And
be something where it's splattered on the wall, like not saying that you shot anyone, but it's just like some type of like like things being moved, something being disarrayed a little bit more. The house of the picture that you're showing us of the house looked well kept. Like you couldn't tell something happened if you didn't
that's
know. You know what I'm saying?
and uh then you ask yourself, why is it just this fake orange red party blood just in the kitchen? If a person was bleeding that much,
They would have
then
went to the bathroom.
an artery had to be severed. If a person
Yeah,
was bleeding
definitely.
that much, I have a paper cut. So that means it should be from the leading from the kitchen through the all the way to the
It
bathroom.
should have been a travel splatter. You get what I'm saying?
That's
That blood should have lead to either the bathroom or the kitchen sink, because normal reaction of a human is we're gonna
right,
want to rinse it off to clean it and to wrap it.
right.
So that's the part that is not making sense. Or wrap going somewhere to kind of wrap it with a cloth or something if you just was gonna just wrap it and put pressure on it.
There you
Like
go. There you go. Because I wish I had the doctor's statement because my attorney drilled him and
mm,
he was asking him, was it to a point that he could have started bleeding again? And the doctor was saying, no, all he did was put 3 layers of dermal bond on it to approximate the area. He said stitches are required when something is much deeper and you're trying to approximate the ends for stitches. He didn't require any of that because he wasn't
mm-hmm,
bleeding. That's what the doctor said. Now, remember now, this next photo I'm gonna show you is of 4 blood drops. Now you got to look at this. Now notice you're gonna notice there's no splatter marks because if you drop water on the ground or something colorful on white tile floor, it's going to have splatter marks. Just like an O.J. Simpson case when they were saying that there was no splatter marks. So I'm gonna tap here and show you this photo. Now, this photo was supposed to be taken on March the 24th, 2009, but we know these photos was not taken on March the 24th, 2009. You see,
it
this
looks
is
like it's soaked.
extremely,
Yeah,
yeah,
it
and
looked like it's
this,
soaking in. It doesn't look like it was. I don't know. Like I don't see. It looked like it was placed there.
right, it was placed there. You don't see nowhere where, ask any person that does forensic, you have to show fixtures where this was actually taken. They say this was taken in the bathroom on the tile floor. Where it doesn't say, it doesn't. You
On the
can't say
towel.
it was in the
Okay,
bathroom.
that's the
This could
towel.
be
So that's
anywhere.
like a rug. Is that
And
like a
what
rug
is
it's supposed to be on?
right? This is white tile floor, but they say it was taken in the bathroom. But why is it bright red? Hasn't dried up, been sitting there for 2 hours. It hasn't changed any colors at
It's supposed
all.
to be brown.
It
It's
should
supposed to
be
be
brown,
brown.
right?
Now, here's the thing that I was thinking about. Outside of the weird coloration of it still being bright red, um, if there was a splatter, like, because I want to be biased in this kind of this part, because if there was a splatter, if it's soaking in cloth, it will now cover the splatter parts. You get what I'm saying?
Understand?
Like, if you know what I'm saying, because it's cloth, it's gonna spread past the drops of splatter. Like, I'm so tempted to like pour a little bit of my water just so I could kind of be like, okay, like,
Right,
god damn it, we doing it. God damn it, we doing it. Because I'm over here trying to, and I don't mind getting wet, but that sucker will definitely splatter. I don't know if it showed, but I'm seeing the little pricklies come up. So
right.
if it's a cloth, it's going to seek past that. But you were onto something. It should be brown. For 2 hours plus, it should be brown.
It should be brown. It should oxidize and turn into a brown color. Um,
Exactly. Exactly.
Now, sorry, I'm gonna keep turning away. Um,
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
well, excuse me.
Bear with me. I got a
If you
door that
remember,
keeps
if
swinging
you
over here.
remember, if you remember the photo, and I'm gonna show you again to refresh your memory. If you remember the photo of I said that was a hair bracelet right here in the
Yeah,
photo.
the
You can
gold
see it.
thing, right? It's the gold
Right,
thing.
that's a hair bracelet. Now, I'm gonna show now. Notice,
It's a little
notice.
bit blurry. Hold on. Let me find it. Kind of
Right.
back
I
up a
want you.
little bit, and then I see it. I see it. I see
I
it.
want you to notice that it is very close, maybe 3 inches from the sink ledge, right? The right porcelain sink ledge. You see that, right?
Okay. Okay. I think I can
Okay.
see it. I think I can see
Okay,
it.
you see that, right? And you don't see any blood on the
Oh yes,
countertop.
yes, yes. The sink. All right. Okay. You had it out of view. I do see the sink. I see the porcelain sink. I see the bracelet, and then it looks like was that a bag? A black bag?
There's a black purse,
Black purse. So yeah.
purse, right? And there's a water
Looks like
bottle
it's right
next to the
behind
purse,
it.
and there's a scarf hanging out of the purse, and there's a red phone. And over
I
here,
see
you
the.
see a nutcracker. When you put nutcrackers up, it's on Memorial Day. Well,
Mm-hmm.
not exactly no more, just before Memorial Day. So that tells you Memorial Day is always following a certain day, but but I was resting in March. Memorial Day is in May. And why would you have nutcrackers up in March? These flowers that you see right here, they wasn't there when I was there. That wasn't there. And this, whatever this is right here in this vase, wasn't there when I was there. And nor was that nutcracker on the den door there when I was there. None of that stuff was there. And you notice these two chairs. Notice the
Mm-hmm.
leg of the chair is right by the flanges. Notice that those two legs, and notice that the chair is right next to the flowers, and there's a wall. So I want you to know that. So I want you to see this next photo. This is uh, now here you go, the bracelet that you couldn't see. Now you see it better now. Now notice the
Mm-hmm.
bracelet now. Let me zoom out. Now notice the bracelet now is all the way from the sink that's just to the right where the red phone is, and it's all the way over to the left now where the purse is.
Okay. Back out because I want to see the picture as a full.
Okay, let
Okay.
me try
Hold
to
on.
see can I do that.
Okay. Okay. I'm looking. I'm looking. Okay. And go towards the sink again.
The sink is this way.
Okay.
That's where
That
the
doesn't.
bracelet was.
Uh,
Now the bracelet
that
is
doesn't.
way from the sink and is all the way over here where the
That
purse
doesn't make
is.
sense to me a little bit because
Okay, now
that's
look at it
if
again.
because
There
that's
go
what
the
I'm saying.
bracelet by the sink.
That's what I'm saying. Look,
It's been
that
moved.
is right. Is it? First of all,
It,
let me
right?
clarify. Is that because I'm seeing something gold? Is that black bracelet didn't look gold on the close up, but I see something
Oh, I
like
see what
a
you're
sign.
looking at a defect in the picture, that gold
Okay,
thing. That's just a defect. But the
okay, because
bracelet
I'm saying
is now by the porcelain part of the sink about 3 inches. Now they moved that bracelet over closer to that water bottle, but behind the purse. In this photo, now the
that's a
bracelet
stretch.
has been moved. You see
So let me
that's the
explain
dishwasher.
this.
See the dishwasher?
Yeah, I see that. So
See the
hold on.
bracelet?
Let me butt in really quick. Let me butt in really quick because I see that they took the picture in the angle of facing the camera. So your picture, it looks like somebody took it facing, like if they were standing in that picture, they'd be facing us. So I feel the way the phone is, I mean, yeah, the bracelet to the phone, they wouldn't have normally fit in the same picture if you taken it from the same angle it was in the other picture. They wouldn't fit in the same frame. They were further apart to me, my perspective, and my honest opinion. It looked like the phone was closer to the edge of the counter, and then the bracelet was on the other side, like a couple of inches away from the sink. Now, however, if they would have taken the picture a little bit better, would a sink would have shown? Maybe, maybe not. But it just looked like from the distance it looked on the first picture, it looks a lot closer on this picture.
Right. Um, Now remember, the phone in this picture here is not disassembled, but the phone in
Yeah,
this picture is disassembled. Same phone, and it's by the inner part in the kitchen under above the dishwasher.
yeah,
And in
but on
this
the other picture, it looks like it's on the edge. It's not above.
right, in
It
this
looks like
picture
it's
is
on the edge.
it's
It's on the side.
right in this picture here, the phone is on the edge of the
Yeah,
countertop.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. They tampered with the crime scene
They
or
tampered with the crime scene. They
alleged
went
crime
back to
scene,
the crime
whatever.
scene. Right, they went back to the crime scene. Now, the officer said, Deputy Kenzel, he said that forensic never showed up. But in Detective
Because
Tuck, David Ray Tuck, David Ray Tuck said that, let me switch this around. David Ray Tuck said that he sent the crime scene Jessica Cherokee out, and he was talking to her while he was there and told her to process the scene. But Deputy Kenzel, the Deputy Kunzel said she never was there. That's what he said. She never was there. And he took photos of everything before they were touched or moved, because Deputy
that's a
Kenzel
lie.
is the person who did
That,
this.
look, by all means, I'm not acting like I do this for a living because I definitely don't. But common sense does play a part in forensics. I don't know the magnitude where a forensic professional need to come out. I don't know if they just come out during like massive like horrific crimes where it's blood and DNA, semen, whatever the hell is going on. You're the situation from what you explained that you just had a little paper cut pretty much. I don't know if they come out for stuff like that, especially if no one was murdered or killed or anything like that. However, it just looks a little fishy. But what I want to talk about is that blood stain that is on the second picture. That looks real. That does look real.
Yeah, on this picture right here, let me turn it back, camera back. On this picture right here, you have on the just below, above the dishwasher.
Dishwasher.
Yeah, I'm gonna go as
That
close
does
as
look
I
real.
can. That's what they put there.
But it looks like somebody was bleeding and they leaned on like the countertop. That but then
Right. Now recall, I was uh when this happened, we were not we were nowhere near. We was actually away from the counter. We was actually away from the countertop, and we was right in mostly in this area right here when she was on the phone, the white cordless phone,
mhm.
and uh and well, I mean, she wasn't on the phone. She was on her cell phone, but she hung up from talking to Dr. Smart. Uh, but when she had the knife in her left hand, as I was walking her to it, that's when she inadvertently injured me. But I never leaned on anything. He said, well, you're just bleeding. So we go into the bathroom, which is in this area right here.
Mhm.
And, but you got, but I want to show you, because you said that looks real to you, but I want to show you this.
Yeah, show me some. Show me some.
Um, let's see.
Cause I'm about to say we about to get some party blood and
Yeah.
lean on it.
Now I'm going to show you this photo here.
Yeah, that doesn't that doesn't look right. That doesn't look right. I don't think that looks right. It does look orangey.
Right.
That does,
Now, remember,
it does look orangey.
remember in the first photo of the kitchen with the water bottle and the phone put together, you you didn't see any of this on the kitchen sink. In this photo here, you didn't see
Hell,
anything. I'm
hell no
sorry.
you don't. Hell no you
I'm sorry.
don't. That
Now
I
here,
would have seen a glimmer of
you
red. I would
do.
have seen that. Hold on, hold on,
Now,
hold on.
how
Go
they
to the
did it,
side a little bit. Let me see the
how they,
other side.
the other one,
No,
go
no, no,
back
no,
to,
no. I want to see that same picture you're looking at. I want to see where the phone was at. Like slide over. Let me see. Hold on, brother. Hold on, brother. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second, cause okay, I see it.
right.
What's that next to it? What's that next to
Battery,
it?
that's the cover of the phone. I'm gonna show you in a minute. To the other side. That's the battery of the gray phone. Now,
What?
ask yourself a question. How did they make these marks? This is what they did, the police.
It looks
They
like
took
a
a glove.
trail. Like they
They took,
ah.
no, this is how they did it. They took their left hand, right? I'm gonna try to do it from a distance. And they folded their hand like this. And they did this. And that's how they made that. You see it?
I see it.
They put a
That makes
glove
sense.
hand on, and they made their hands like this, and they touched the sink like this with their left hand. Those are the finger marks is going across to the right, and the underneath their palm is going down. That's how they did
I
it.
have a question. I have a question. You know, me not being a part of like this type of lifestyle. I have a question. Okay,
Right?
with a gloved hand, wouldn't that mark be smoother or no? I'm not saying they couldn't have taken the glove off and did the same movement you talking about, but with a glove hand is more smooth. It wouldn't have left that pattern, like that roughness of a pattern, right? It would have been a water
And
like a
that's
straight
why,
line.
right? This is the question, and that's why they did when they did this with a glove hand. Then some reason you can see that there's a pattern right along here on both.
Hold on. You focus your camera a little bit because I'm on the edge of your picture. All right, there you go. Do it again.
You see that little pattern. Let me take a pen.
Yeah,
This pattern
it looks like something kind of just is spreading on the ends like that.
right here
Yeah.
and here. So what they did, they made their hand in this cup-like position, and they made the and to me, because I tried to figure out, well, how did they do that? And but like you said, you don't see any of that in this photo. Nothing
I
red.
would have seen something. I would have
You
seen
would have seen
something.
something. Do you now this photo? Let me show this photo. Now, remember when you saw the battery, the gray battery? All right, there you go.
Yes. Yes.
That's the gray battery. And let me blow it out, pull it out so you can see. And now you get the gray phone. Remember, I was supposed to have blood on my hands. And now you
It would
get
have
the
been
gray
on the
phone.
phone.
Nope,
It would have been
no blood is on the objects. It's around the objects. And what do you see right here? You
a
see a
ring.
ring, but you don't see the ring. I'm sorry, but you don't see the ring anywhere in this photo.
All right. Here's another one. It might be, and I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying that's a little object. I'm able to see the big stuff. But I
And
would have probably see a shadow of something. Wouldn't be able to tell what it is. I don't see anything right there. So I'm not saying you're wrong. I just want to bring the option of maybe it's so
oh,
small
that's
that we
okay.
can't see the picture.
That's all right. What I'm gonna try to do
But
is
you do have another picture that they were showing you the two objects. I feel like it would have shown there. My
right.
opinion, it would have probably shown
I'm
on that
trying to
other
balance.
second picture.
I'm gonna try to balance this so you can get an idea.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
if you're looking at the dishwasher and you're looking at
Yeah.
the now you see the sink. You see the sink. See the sink. And
Show me. I'm
the
sorry,
the
Rand.
ring, the
Sam,
ring, the ring
Randy.
would be the ring would be right in this area here. Would be right there. That's where
Yeah,
the
it would
ring.
be right up there.
It would be at the top right here. You'll be able to see it.
Okay, Randall, I have a question for you. I have a
Sure.
question. Go to
Okay.
that other picture. Go to that other picture you were showing me with the no, not
This
that
one.
one. The other one that's right next to it.
Oh, this one.
Yes. Remember now. Go back by the dishwasher, like the edge of the dishwasher.
Okay. Here.
Yeah, wasn't there a line trail right above it? Or am I bugging out?
No, you talking about this right here. You talking about that?
Yeah, wouldn't it still be there?
It would, but it's not. It's
That's what
missing.
I'm saying. Like, did you notice that? Did you notice that?
Yeah, I noticed that, but it's not there because it's
Like,
just
did they
not there.
write that up? Did they use that to do the imprint? Like, did they lean their hand on that to do the fake imprints on the sink? Like, that's
No.
completely gone?
Yeah, but see, you also what you do, how you gauge it. You look at the red phone here, and you look at the
Uh-huh.
buttons. Let me do this. And you look at the buttons. You see
Where
the
they
buttons,
on top of.
and
Yep.
then you
Yep.
measure, and then you
Phone right
measure,
there.
you measure where that phone is and those buttons, and then you go
Mm-hmm.
this photo, and you say the phone has been moved. because now the phone is over, way over to the right. This red phone is now over further to the right compared to this photo right here.
Yeah. Yeah, they sloppy over there. They sloppy.
They were really sloppy. What they was doing, the police was really sloppy. Now remember, this phone, this gray phone, doesn't even work. It's upstairs phone. They brought the upstairs phone down to the downstairs. Is because they collected the white phone that's downstairs, and they took that into property. But see, they never registered it in property and got rid of the evidence in property. That's right. That's why there's no white phone in any of the photos, because there's a white phone downstairs. This phone does not work. And I used the white phone that night to call Sharon, which is my ex-girlfriend, on the white phone. And now there's a gray phone. Yeah. So so I mean, they did what they did. The officer who I was telling you about, his name is, I'll let you see his name. His name is, if you can see it, Deputy. Can you see that?
Hold on. Oh yeah, his name Edward. What is it? I don't know how to pronounce his last name.
Kunzo. Deputy Edward Kunzo Jr. And this was done on August the 17th, 2009, this deposition. And in this deposition, he says, I was trying to find, wait a minute, make sure I got the right one. Yeah, but I can't find it. But what he was saying in this deposition was that he took the photos, and he was saying that he collected in everything before it was touched or moved. And obviously, you see that there was things here that have been touched and moved. And he also put these things in property, as you can see right here. I don't know if you can read it. Right here it says, I was taking photographs and collecting the knives. They were secured and put into property. Okay. And do you know if any of the knives were analyzed for prints? I have no idea. So he put these things in property. This is a property receipt. And then the property receipt is saying that, if you can see it, I don't know, can you see that?
I can see. It says kitchen knife, black plastic handle. Kitchen knife, black plastic handle is written twice.
Right. So you're looking at a 12-inch knife and an 8-inch steak knife. So the only 12-inch knife in these photos was this. Oh great. What happened? Are you there?
I'm here with you. I still see the books.
All right. Okay, there you go. This is I'm going to show you is photo exhibit 6. In photo exhibit 6, you got 3 knives. You see them? So this knife, my thumb is supposed to have been collected. This is a bread knife. The knife in the middle is a non-serrated steak knife, and the other one's a cheese knife. Now, this knife, out of the 6 knives in the photos, this knife here is supposed to have been in property, right? Because it said 12 inches, right? So what you're saying yourself is that you're saying yourself that this knife and the knife that they found on the tub ledge was supposed to be a serrated 8-inch steak knife. So these 2 knives supposed to be in property that you just saw from the receipt, right?
Yeah, property receipt should have shown they were taken.
Right. So in the proper receipt, if you notice in the proper receipt, look at it well. the property receipt is not completely filled out. It's not. Notice. It's not. I'm gonna go all the way down so you can see.
There's no signature. There's no other reason. I don't. Hold on. Because at the top of that bulk, it says not use of something. If you go down, maybe that's a line that he's not supposed to fill out. I don't know. It says not use. What is it? Additional items. Item shoes. No, he. It looks like he's supposed to fill that out. I see
Right.
the X there, but I'm talking about like as far as signature, a witness signature, something.
Right. See the date? March
The
20.
date is not there. Date is not there. You probably could fake that, but
6 o'clock, 6:03. I was the now the phone call was made at 6:03. That's the time that the phone call was made. Now I'm gonna show you the same property receipt, another property receipt. Now all of a sudden in this property receipt, everything is filled out.
yeah, the bottom parts. Yes, that was completely blank on the first one. That's what I'm
right.
saying. It's supposed to be date, time, and issues, a witness, maybe. I don't know, but that was completely blank.
All this was added, okay? Because what happened is that this deputy, the original property receipt, they destroyed it and backdated it. And that's why he was able to put these 2 knives in, because there was only 1 knife. Now you say, well, how do I know that there was only 1 knife? If you look right here, this is the exhibit discovery exhibit, the state discovery exhibit. You see that?
Yeah, I see it.
All right, now, if you look right here, you'll see the file at the clerk of the clerk of court. Let me turn it this way.
Okay, I see it.
All right. Now,
Can't be rushing.
it's supposed to be, how many knives is supposed to be on the property?
It's supposed to be 2 in property. I'm looking at 3.
Okay, now, this is the second page of what I just showed you. And if you see right here, if you read it, if you can see it, on line 6.
Tangible papers or objects obtained from or belonging to defendant. And all those numbers.
And you see 1 knife, 1 knife.
Yeah, that knife is with the V.
Not 3 knives, not 4 knives, 1 knife. So you got 6 knives in the photos. You got 2 knives in property, and the state discovery says 1 knife. Now the thing about this photo, I want you to see. Remember the rug and the other in the first photo I showed you. Let's go back again so you can see. Remember this photo right here, right? Remember the chair. Jason, you got a wall right here, a flower pot with flowers, and the chair right next to it, right? You see that? So now so let's go back to this photo. So now right here, you got the flower pot with the flowers in it. Okay, you just don't see them. But where's the chair that was next to the flower pot and the flowers? Here you got
back up out of that picture with the flowers. Yeah, it's completely moved.
Okay, so where's the chair?
Where's the blood? Like, where's the blood?
Where's the blood on the knife? Now she said, which I can show you. I didn't bring it to her deposition. She said I cut myself with this bread knife 3 times on my wrist. This knife right here.
But there's no evidence to show that you've been seen by paramedics, that you've been cut. There's no cut on you currently. Am I not mistaken?
And there's no blood on this bread knife, 12-inch. You read it was 12-inch knife they took into property.
Not even on the tip at all.
Now she said she threw these knives over the countertop to the dining room. Now look at how they landed. With all the points facing floor. Right. Now where's the chair? You actually said, where's the chair? You
Now,
see,
what
don't you see the
is
chair?
it? Now,
Don't you
here's
see?
the thing: when they do a crime scene or anything to remotely close to that, right? They can't move anything without taking the
That's right.
picture, right?
That's right.
But they moved it to get a better angle of these said knives that look perfectly placed.
Right. Okay. No, no, no. Ask yourself, where's the chair in the photo?
Yeah, there's no chair.
It is a chair.
I don't see it.
It's in the shadow. When you see it, you turn it this way so you can see it. You see the chair in the shadow? It's
Oh
behind the
shoot!
knives now.
Oh shoot!
They pulled the
Yes.
chair, they moved the chair, placed the knives, pulled the rug down, and pulled the chair behind the knives. Look at the photo again. You see the chair right next to the flower? There's flower
Yeah.
pots. They pulled the first chair over. This chair right here, I'm trying to get it to stay. This chair here, right here, they moved this chair over. All right. Then they took this chair here. They moved it behind the knives. They pulled the table over, and you see that chair, that wooden chair about next to the dining room table. Now look at the chair. You see that chair right there? You see those things on the ends, each ends of the chair sticking up.
You
See
talking
those
about the
points?
wood one, right?
Let me try it. You see these? You see these points right here on the chair right here, here, and
Yeah,
here.
the point. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, let me show you that. Let me show you here in this photo where they are. They took that chair and they turned it around. And now you
All
see
right,
that
you
chair,
gotta censor your screen because I don't because I'm not
right?
seeing it. All right, there you go. There you go. There you go.
That chair is now right here. Here.
Mm,
See this thing
that's the
sticking up?
point. Right.
They
Yeah, I
turned
see two of them sticking up.
pulled
I
it
see
from
two things
the
sticking up.
table and they turned it around and they pulled the rug down. This rug now has been pulled down away from the flower pots. And so they can place the knives in that position, all facing the thrower. And they moved the chair is now behind it. Now, keep this in mind now. I was arrested and I was taken out of the house into custody around 8. It was dark outside. This is
Yeah,
sunlight. This is sunlight.
yeah. You can only get a shadow or some type of like some overcast like that when it's bright or when it's
Right?
bright in the room.
The light that I'm looking at right now behind you is the same light that I'm looking at in this photo, white light. I'm arrested at nighttime, not at daylight. So that tells you also they went back to the crime scene weeks later, before Memorial Day, after March the 24th, the day I was arrested, the police. Now, you would be expecting to see these knives, one of these knives, or in the steak knife that's in a property, right? So that's what you would like to see. But guess what? When I told the judge that, hey, wait a minute, I like to see the knives, I never saw the knife. The prosecution already arrested. So my attorney turns around and said, okay, we'll let him see the knives. We'll let him see the knives. He gonna let him see the knives. And when the bailiff Bradburn brought the knives out, he was unwrapping them, and that's when I saw this party blood falling out of the bag, the clear plastic bag, and I knew it was fake party blood. Now, keep in mind, the jurors never saw the knives in property. They never saw it. So now, all of a sudden, I'm looking at the knife closely, and I can see the party blood and some of the real blood on the teeth of the knife. Now, teeth, serrations of the 8-inch steak knife. Now, I expect to see a 12-inch bread knife. And you know what I saw? There was no 12-inch bread knife. It was a butcher knife. My attorney called Richardson here, and he called nothing because the evidence that's in the photos didn't match the evidence that was improper. The
It
police,
seems like an easy win with all
so,
these discrepancies.
right. And with all these discrepancies, the jury should have been made aware of that, and they were not made aware at all. And
Purposely.
so, right. So now the police, this is what they do next. I'm gonna turn the camera around again. This is what they do next. They go into the bathroom, the police, after March 24th. They step in the tub, and this is the inner side of the tub here. This is the outside of the tub. All right. And what they do They stand in the tub with gloves on, and they lean forward with their hands and they place a handprint on the tub like this. Now, if you go,
But
if
that
you
handprint has to match yours.
right
So I
now,
don't understand why
notice
they.
these prints. I'm getting very close to you. If you go home, or you're at home now, and you go to the party store and get some of the stuff and put some gloves on, pull them tight, and place your hands and rub them together until they get a little dry, and step in your tub, and you'll get the same horizontal marks. Now, notice on your hand, you have simian lines, right? On your hands,
Yeah.
right? Those simian
Mm-hmm.
lines, right? Do you see any simian lines on these photos?
No.
No, no.
No.
There's no
And I'm
simian
looking
lines.
at my hand too. I'm just like,
That's right. And if you put your hand on a red substance without a glove on, and you go in your house and you stand in the tub, you're going to have fingerprints. There are no prints here as well, and no
no,
sim.
no print. They needed if there was a print, it would not match yours.
Right. So if my wrist is here, then they clean this area off right here, and here it looks like lips, top and bottom lips. So how can, if I'm injured here on my left hand, my left wrist, and why is it that this thick lip stuff is way down here and this has been cleaned off?
That doesn't make sense.
Right. Now, I want you to notice I'm assuming this is a complete picture of the tub ledge from left to right, right? From left to right.
That doesn't make sense. That
Do
pool,
you
that
see,
thick.
do you see like drops of blood on the floor, tile floor? Do you see a knife? This is a complete ledge of the bathroom ledge of the tub. And right here in this photo here, this part here, the shadow, that's the stool shadow. Now, in this next photo, now all of a sudden, remember, this is the inside of the tub here. This is a shower curtain for the inside, and this is a shower curtain for the outside, decorative curtain. Now you got a knife shorter than an 8-inch steak knife, and it has no serrations on it. This is the knife that they said I put between the two shower curtains on the tub ledge. Now notice on this tub ledge, look, complete ledge, you have no handprints with a knife. In this photo, you got handprints and no knife. Right.
Yeah, I'm over here like.
That's right. Right in the center. You have
So wait,
no.
did you take second picture between the curtains?
Yeah.
Why is that right like that? It looks like it was on the floor for a moment. So that's why I was like,
That's on the tub ledge.
okay.
So you got this look like a paring knife with no serrations on it on the tub ledge. But they took a 8-inch steak knife into property. And they said that they took this knife, this paring knife that you're looking at right here on the tub ledge, and they said they took that knife into property, but the knife in property is an 8-inch serrated steak knife. This is not 8 inches. That's a paring. You see,
Wow.
that's
Wow.
they went back.
Go back to the knife because I'm seeing more curtain than I am knife. So.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Uh-huh.
I get really close to that knife so you can see if there's any
Yeah, I don't
serrations.
see no serrations.
See, there's no serrations. There's no blood on the handle of the knife. There's no blood on the blade.
Back up a little bit. Yep, I don't see it. It's shadowy, but I don't see it. It looks like it was placed. Doesn't look like it was placed.
So you're supposed to see red handprints and a knife at the same time.
At the same time. And if that was the case, they should have took everything together. If they was gonna plan it, they should have had the handprints with the knife and touched the knife. They should have made this look believable. It looks staged.
Right. And like I said, they're supposed to have now the knife, if the knife was on the tub ledge, you would be able to see it. But it's not. You'll be able to see it. It's not there.
No.
Right in the center. And you saw in the other photo the entire length of the tub ledge in the other photo, and there's no handprints, but there is paring knife. This is the stuff, and this is not everything, but this is the stuff. Like I said, I wish I would have had the deposition showing what Deputy Goloff said, so people can see it for themselves. But on the website, my website, all these documents is on the website, and people who have time, they have time, they can read it themselves if they have time. What happened here? If they have time, they can read it. They can read it themselves.
Hold on 1 second. Okay, hold on. You said it's on your website, right?
Yes.
Okay, let me try something. Let me try something, because I know you don't. You said the papers you're missing is on the website. Am I correct?
I know. I'm saying that. Right. All my copies of my trial and depositions is all on my website.
Okay,
And
so let me do something really quick. Let me see if this gonna work. So you ready? You with me to try something that I've never done before?
what's that?
I'm about to pull up your website. I'm about to pull
Sure.
up your website.
I'm trying to figure out
Tell me your website.
why is okay, that's cool. I was trying to see why the bottom portion was so. I can't get rid of it back to my face.
All right, 1 second. Just can you tell me your website?
www. What is it? I gotta forget my own website. www.wrongfullyconvicted@gmail.com. I'm the wrongfully convicted cases. www.wrongfullyconvictedcases.com.
Okay. Okay, I feel like this is perfect. I found you. Okay, so let me get back to Skype. And you said you're having problems showing your face?
Yeah, I
Tap
can
your
see
screen,
you.
go on the
I can
right
see
hand side,
you.
and
Tap
yeah.
audio and camera, and something else comes up on the right side.
What comes out?
Tap and see what happens.